Hi everyone. Raise your hand if you've ever struggled with communication with your adult child, or especially if your child has asked you to give them some space. That's the topic we're going to talk about today. So for those of you that are new here to my channel, I just want to welcome you. My name is Sally Harris, and I am a mom who walked a difficult road with my own daughter for over 10 years. And when her life spiraled in a crazy direction, so did mine. And it does not have to be that way. And so I want to share with you this week on communication. It is such a huge topic that there's so many different facets of it. There's so many different things we can talk about. But today I want to talk about what does that look like when your child has asked you to give them some space, or maybe they're not talking to you at all, right? So with communication, there's so many facets, right? There's what comes out of our mouth, our words. There's our body language. There is the mode in which we talk, whether we're emailing, texting, we're in person, phone, whatever. And then also the relative to, how often we talk. So there's lots of different facets. But today, let's talk about what that looks like when they have asked for space. And maybe they didn't come right out and say, I need 6 months, or I need you to only call me once a week. Maybe they've cut that off, right? Which speaks volumes, of course. So let's talk about that. So number one, one of the biggest things I would suggest to you is respect their boundaries. If they have actually told you flat out that they only want to talk to you once a month, or maybe right now they're not wanting to talk to you at all, as hard as that is, as difficult as that is, I would suggest following the boundaries that they have given you if they've actually given you them. So it's no different than you wanting them to follow your boundaries for yourself. For whatever reason, they have created these boundaries around themselves. Doesn't mean that things shouldn't be discussed and maybe counseling would come into play and all these things. But right now, this is where they're at. And I do think that pushing them will send it in the other direction many times. So number two, I want to talk about over-contacting. So avoid over-contacting them. Like I said, stick with the mode that they have suggested or asked. And it's not about right versus wrong, or they're telling me what to do, those kinds of things. This is about trying to respect each other's boundaries. And I'm quite sure you probably have some of your own, and maybe you've expressed those to them. And maybe they're not liking yours either. And that's okay. You don't have to like theirs, and they don't have to like yours. But just like when there's a situation, think about it when two kids are arguing, right? You can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, but everybody's got to get to their own side of the fence, and then we're going to figure this out, right? And when you're together and there's all this conflict, in and of itself, without any mediation or help or anything like that, it's just going to get worse. So taking that separation break might be exactly what you need. And then lastly, number three is focus on you. During this process, it is a heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching time that you are experiencing, and you may not agree with any of it. And then again, you may say, yep, I totally can see where they're coming from because I feel the same way. I need a break. We both need to work on ourselves. Well, you and I both know that you have control over working on you. You have no control on what they're doing on their end. And so I just want to encourage you, lastly, to focus on yourself, even in the midst of the crap, even in the midst of the heartache, even in the midst of the most difficult season of your life where you just want to forget about it. You want to try to move on. You're trying everything and anything to be able to do that, but you and I both know it's impossible. In the middle of the yuck in life, this situation or any situation, excuse me, focus on you. You are never going to be sorry for doing that extra workout, eating the better food. You are never, ever, I promise you, ever going to be sorry for doing that stuff, right? You don't want to do anything you're going to regret. So the better you take care of yourself, the more you're going to be able to handle this situation. And I speak to that from personal experience because I went down the other path where I chose all the wrong things for a very long time. And it wasn't until I chose the healthy things, the right things, got my life back together, started focusing on me in the midst of it all, whether my daughter was going to be okay or not. I had to get to that point, or like I say many times, it wasn't going to end well for me. And so I just want to encourage you from the bottom of my heart to take that seriously, to really focus on you and what does that look like. Make sure you have a community of people around you. If it's not me, my group, find someone else. Find people that you relate with, right? Find people that are going to understand you, that are going to respect, what you're going through without judgment. The last thing anybody needs right now is judgment. Any of you moms watching right now, the last thing you need is judgment from anyone. And so I just encourage you to find your person, find your group, find some one-on-one coaching or counseling. But if you and I have never chatted before and you're interested in hearing more about what I have to offer, and I would be able to hear more about what's going on with your situation, how it's affecting you, I do a 30-minute consultation. It's not a coaching call, but it's an opportunity for me to get some details of what's going on, and I can make a recommendation to you on how I can help. If that's you, then I encourage you to click the link below. It's called a 30-minute discovery call. And then we can go from there and we'll take next steps. So I just want to wish you well, and I just want you to remind you to go do something for yourself today. Take care.